I got to get back in the mindset. Oh, can you just do it?
Welcome back to another episode of The Best in a Mess with Alex Chidiak and Joshua Smith.
See, you do it so well.
You also
You have a
do it well.
podcast voice. You do it better. I accept that.
I feel like you
Okay,
have a
why do
podcast voice as well.
yeah, not like you though. I feel like you could be like an audiobook guy,
I
you know? Yeah.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. That's a great compliment to receive.
It is. It's really good. I was going to enter this podcast with my audio voice and say, this is like Alexandra All-Star Chidiak right now.
All star.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, we're going there, are we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna hijack
Well,
whatever you're gonna bring in. I'm just gonna hijack it and we're gonna go there
yeah,
right.
fine. All right. What questions? What questions do you have? I was only an all star for a week, so
I know. I know. You did say it was like a camp and then you actually played the game. I want
yep.
to hear, I want to hear, and I'm sure everyone else wants to hear, what was that like for you? The whole thing. Go the week to the game, and then we can go from there, see what flows through.
It was kind of it was strange. It was like such a long lead in because obviously our season finished and we've just all been training separately, waiting for like info. So info was getting drip fed to us. We didn't have a lot of knowledge on what exactly would be going down. We didn't have our daily schedule up until maybe the day before we went into camp. So it was all a bit like what's going on when we arrive. But I would say it's like the whole setup of it was like a way more relaxed, chilled version of a national team camp. Um, and it ended up being like a lot of fun. I mean, there was like a bunch of media things that, we had to do. So it wasn't really like just based on, okay, we're going to be training full on, we're going to have heaps of meetings, we're going to prepare for this game, like it's, our life depends on it. It was more so about hyping the league up. And yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun. It was great to like catch up with all the other girls that I've played against. I forced a lot of them to be my friend. Like I, I
Yep.
was like, who can I target? But yeah, I just had like so much fun just, not going up against these guys. Like normally we're used to, these players are the ones that we target in our video sessions. Like, okay, what are their weaknesses? How do we,
Mhm.
stop them from doing well? And now we all want everyone to do well. So that was a change. But it was really fun. And Joe is like the same guy I remember when I was 16 and he brought me over from City. Well, we brought me
Mhm.
over to City from Adelaide United and yeah, he's unbelievable. Like after that first video session, all of us were like sitting there like, holy crap. Like he's just so wise. And he
Wow,
does it in such a
okay.
chilled, relatable way, but like I haven't heard a coach talk like that where like the whole room is just captivated in a really long time. So I think everyone was just like, oh, this is what this week's going to be about. This is cool.
Wow. Can you run
Um
through what that's like? Well, like,
yeah.
what do you mean? Like, so you've been in video sessions, so you're watching footage of these players or yourselves play or whatever it may be. Can you run through what that's like? Like, take me on that journey. I want to be in the room with you.
Well, it was a dimmed room, quite
Hmm.
beautiful. We were on the top floor of the Chadston Hotel.
Hmm.
We'd all just arrived, so we just put our All Stars gear on, all anxiously waiting on what's going to happen. And a lot of girls had never met Joe before, so didn't know what to expect. They just knew, obviously, he's coached some of the biggest teams in the world, so he's definitely like I think people were expecting, oh, he's going to be scary, like this is going to be a scary thing. Asia's the most chilled dude, like definitely, from the first sentence, he was like, we're just gonna play football. I want the ball. I want us to play free, no structure. And I was like, I'm home. This is
Hmm.
this is where I belong. He was showing us some clips of, I guess the idea that they want us to play, but everything is just so thought through. Um, yeah, like I've just not had that detail in such a long time where it's detail, but it's not overdone. The way he delivers it is great. And, he wasn't trying to make us be anything that we're not. It was like, he identified we're all more than capable players to do this. Like, let's go out there and try it. And yeah, from the get go, it wasn't like a, oh, let's like phase in the players. This is day one. Let's kind of just kick the ball around and whatever. It was like full training day one, which I love because yeah, I was like, I just wanted to make the most of this whole experience. I was just like having a great time at training. I didn't want training to end.
Oh, brilliant.
So yeah, so it was just like I wanted to keep going. Like, um, yeah, and I think everybody had that same feeling of this is really enjoyable. And we all, all of us are from like all different teams, all very different backgrounds. Have, some players have played overseas, some not, some this is the first like time it's actually, they're getting to be put on a stage like this. And all of us just agreed on how much we love what we're doing right now. And we wish that this is what football was like in Australia. So I think you kind of saw the potential there, and we're like, oh, we want this team to stay together. Like we wanted all of us to, have longer than a week, but unfortunately, it was just a week, and I don't think that you can really prepare only for a week to play against Arsenal, but
Mhm.
we tried, um, and no, but it was just a really enjoyable, like football experience. I would say different than all the structure I'm used to. It was just
Yeah.
getting back to the basics and the fun of it, and also getting to play alongside some of the best players in the country. So
Mhm.
it was nice. It was really nice.
This is so lovely to hear. This is so lovely to hear. It's almost like I've never met Joe. Obviously, I heard you talk about Joe a lot. Um, and he's got no pressure.
Yeah.
You girls got no pressure. It's amazing what can be achieved in the training environment, right? When you can still work hard, you can still put the intensity in, but you're taking off some of the pressure, and allowing the players to sort of step into what they want to do, and not necessarily what they want to do, as in the structure that you want to, but be who they want to be. It's amazing how that kind of shifts the mentality and shifts the mindset, and you're able to get a lot more out of people. That's super awesome to hear.
Yeah. No, I think it was like really cool how well everybody just gelled together from the get-go.
Hmm.
Even people that have just never met each other before, only heard of each other. I think like everybody's like preconceived thoughts and feelings about others were just wiped away once meeting
Hmm.
everyone, and it was such like a wholesome group. So yeah,
So,
I'm interested to know though, like from the outside, what everyone else was feeling. Like, what were you feeling surrounding the game, seeing the build up to it? Like, what was the kind of vibe? Because for us, it was definitely like more relaxed, and it didn't really
yep,
hit us like, oh shit, we actually are playing Arsenal.
yep,
um,
yep.
like for a lot of us, it was like, we want to like we want to do well, of course. But it was just a very enjoyable week.
Yeah, I can speak for myself, and then I will speak for those who I talk to sort of in the gym space and friends about it. Myself, I pick up on what's coming through via say socials, or what's coming through via what we're seeing out in the media and whatnot, and it looked like you were having fun. Like everyone in the settings, it looked like it was relaxed. It looked like it was enjoyable. It looked like it was tough, obviously, and I think what you've just said about how it felt internally is exactly how I perceived it externally, you know. And so I also have that insight with I know you, and I know how you can present when you're not feeling the best in the situation, and what comes out through photos, whether they're yours or others, and how that looks. And it really, I was actually at ease the whole week
Mhm.
for you. I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. It looks like you're having a great time, you know. And I knew obviously you going into camp like setting. I knew what that was going to be like. I've been there with you in Matilda's camps, and it was very a stark contrast in that vibe. And then for those who were around me, so the conversations I was having with people that are around the game, and were sort of involved in it in certain ways, whatever, they loved it. They loved it. The perceptions were like, this is a great thing for sport. It was a great thing that the game was the second game of the night as well, where we had the men as the openers, and then you girls finish it off, was phenomenal. A lot of positive support, and a lot of commentary on that, actually. People picking up these things, and seeing how the Australian sporting media got around it as well was really, really awesome. It was just a very different sort of um, outward sort of promotion of it, and that obviously correlates through to what you're saying, and it's all the continuity is there. So it was actually really, really cool, really, really cool. And I think that these sorts of exhibition games where we just get, okay, the best of the league or, team of the season or whatever it may be, and put these things together can actually drive a lot more encouragement for people to get involved in it, and a lot more engagement as well. You've got these things where like, oh, cool, we're not just seeing Newcastle versus Canberra. We're not seeing Melbourne versus Adelaide, right? We're seeing the best of this league versus another international team that actually drives our support. Like, oh, now we've got a country versus another country. It's a different type of support, where everyone can go and get around it. That's how I would provide my analysis and my sort of breakdown from your question, as in like what was the view, what was the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So great work for all of you, for everyone involved. It was phenomenal, phenomenal.
All right,
Um,
I'll say it's a success then. It's a
it's a
success
success. Oh,
overall.
it's definitely a success. Definitely a success. What was it like going into the game itself? So we've talked about the lead up, going into the game itself, playing against, the team, playing with the new team, like your new team of the night. What was that whole like? Was the experience like being in the change rooms, going out through the race into the actual stadium? Run me through that.
Well, like I said before, it was very much like it's kind of like a media thing, like a
Hmm.
promotional
Hmm.
scenario. And unfortunately, I had to do a lot of media, and
Hmm.
that included wearing a mic for the warm up, which I fucking hated. Yeah, I had this strap around my waist. I had this thing, this little earpiece. I'm trying to focus on this freaking match, and they were like, okay, in 15 minutes you'll hear someone talk to you, and I'm like, that's the most terrifying thing. Like I'm going to be deep in a warm up and then someone's going to start speaking to me. So basically, like, I was like, oh, maybe they've forgotten because it felt like longer than 15 minutes. And we're doing like a rondo drill basically, like 3v3s. Like, I'm not just standing. And as we're about to start the last set, and it's like, it's tiring. Like, I hear someone start speaking to me and I was like, oh my gosh, I like stopped, freaked out. And I was like, nah, I had to swap with somebody that was on the outside. So it's like, I can't concentrate when someone is speaking in my ear. And then I had to listen to a whole other interview before I went on. And then we're doing a new drill, the next one. And it's like, it's not like your normal, with victory, we know exactly what our warm up is. I could do that with my eyes closed. I know exactly what we're doing. This is different. New team, new players. I need to be focused. And they start asking me, all these questions about the game. And I'm like trying to do a shooting drill. So, so I mess up my shot. I was like, oh, that was shit. And I'm like, oh my God, I am so sorry. This is live. So it was very new for me for that reason. But also I guess like another added new thing is like I've obviously been part of Matilda squads where
Hmm.
crowds have shown up and it's
Hmm.
loud. I've not been starting in that scenario, so it's a bit different.
Hmm.
Um, so being fully involved in the warm up, being fully involved in this is how we're meant to start the game, this, that, and the other. Like in the change room, I did my normal routine that I do, and everyone did their normal routines. We were probably there a bit earlier than normally we would be. Like we were in the change room for ages waiting. Like we got to see the whole half of the um A League men's all stars play. So we were just sitting there watching goal after goal after goal, waiting for our turn to kind of warm up. And it felt really long. And then, you're finally out there. It's super loud. I mean, the cheers that Arsenal were getting, which like are really cool. We're all just like sitting there thinking, where are you guys for our games in the A League? Like
Hmm.
you exist in Australia. How do we get you to come to our games? Is the big conversation that was happening between us all. But yeah, to have that sort of excitement and that connection with the fans on a different level that's not national team was really cool to see.
Hmm.
And then the game itself, I mean, Arsenal, like, obviously clearly dominated.
Hmm.
They've been playing all season together, know exactly what they're doing. And we're trying out, a whole new team, new formation, new style. And I mean, look, only ended 1-0, which I think is a success.
Hmm.
um, and we could have scored some goals in the end. So that's
Hmm.
another like big positive. So it's not like it was the like a anything like terrible. I mean, the actual enjoyment of the game, I don't like defending. So a lot of sidestepping for me, not a fan.
Hmm.
Um, but the in general, the kind of event that it was, the atmosphere, like players getting like everybody getting to play, it being a spectacle for that, watching the cheers from the crowds when players were getting subbed on and off, like that respect for obviously the Aussie players in Arsenal, but also the respect for the A-League girls that were coming on. You could tell in the crowd like there'd been lots of people that have flown in all around Australia to have that support of the players in that club, but then as a whole supporting the league and getting to see Arsenal play, which is obviously they're part of one of the best leagues in the world.
Hmm.
Been one of the best women's teams in since I can remember.
Hmm.
And now they're literally playing on our home soil, which is, I think it shows how much the game's grown, and to get that many people, for us, us also not being the first game, being the second game, and more people turning up than the men's game. I never would have foreseen that happening. Um, so yeah, like it was really cool seeing that excitement, and then even the feelings after the game. Like I was speaking with KK, and we decided that we wanted to just give away all of our stuff. Wanted other people to feel part of it. Like personally, I don't need more things. I was like, you know
Hmm.
what, people are gonna remember this night. Like give them something to remember it by, because we can't go around and see everybody. So yeah, we both had a lot of fun just throwing stuff into the crowd, and people wanted my socks. I could have made some money for that, but um, I did it for the league. I did it for the league. But it was really cool to see, like just I think a lot of the girls in the A League that haven't been part of the Matildas, they wouldn't have
Hmm.
been part of something like that before, which is really special. And it's what they deserve for making the All Star squad and getting to be celebrated like that after a great season. So I think it was really nice to see that for some players that have never experienced it, because it's very unique in the women's space, and Australian football as well. You don't see that kind of response, but um, yeah, it's been crazy ever since the Matildas kind of took over Australia. So it was really cool to see that filter down into the league.
Hmm. Yeah,
That's my recap.
that's you know what? That's amazing. I'm gonna get like all like the feels all up under here. That's super, super cool. That's super cool. What was or what was or how did the girls who hadn't sort of played in front of crowds like that or hadn't been in stadiums when you've got crowds like that from the A leagues, what were their kind of responses? And do you then do you feel like a kind of like like a mum figure, like let me help you, let me guide you through this moment. Like what's that kind of life for them? Because that would have been just mind blowing.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably better to ask them,
Mm,
because I think we were all just like, this is cool. Like,
yeah.
it, yeah, like some people in the team had seen it before, some people not. And yeah, I didn't really, change in any sort of way. I tried to
Hmm.
stay like my normal self, which is relax and making jokes. So hopefully that made people feel comfortable, that it's just another game. And
Hmm.
like you said before, we didn't have pressure on us. We were
Yeah.
going in, people saying that like everyone was saying that we're going to get smashed. So we were like, all right, let's prove them wrong.
Hmm.
Let's show what this league's about. And it's also a cool thing that like lots of these players get to, like, I feel like I'm kind of in the middle of this group, right? You have
Okay.
like some legendary Matildas that have like done so much for our country in this squad, and still current Matildas as well. And then you've got like the ones that are just coming through the league now that are making a name for themselves. And then like this middle group that was just kind of like where I feel like I sit in,
Hmm.
and my age group, which is, you know, experienced some bits and pieces, but I've also seen both sides where like no one was turning up to games, and
Hmm.
now the bit where everyone's turning up to games. So we're kind of sitting in the middle, just like really appreciating what's happening, and how far the game's come. And like that moment when like Lydia got clapped off the field and
Hmm.
Jada's coming on for it. Like that was super special for everyone. Like I stopped still. Like I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like let's just appreciate a player for what they've done.
Hmm.
And it's like a really special moment where, Jada's arguably the next Matilda's goalkeeper coming through, and coming on for somebody who she's idolized and gets to play with and share that special bond and that week together and literally come on the field. I think that's like such a beautiful thing that was provided in that game. And for me, I look at it like I was telling Tamika Yallop and Elise Kellen Knight, like I've always, when I was younger, I wanted to play in a midfield with those two. They were the
Mhm.
midfielders in the Matildas and never got to happen. And now I get to do that. So cool
Oh.
experience for me as well. Like, first time getting to play with Michelle, like absolute beast of a striker, like we only
Mhm.
got to link up really maybe once or twice in the Matildas, but like being in a proper game together. Yeah, like it was really cool moments for everyone, I think. And yeah, you'd probably have to ask a few of the younger girls that are newer
Mm.
to the scene what it was like. But for me, it was still a really cool experience because, I just see myself still as that kind of like little kid, like, what the fuck am I doing here? So it's like I've just
Oh,
snuck in everywhere.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's so lovely. It's just so lovely to hear. I really wanted to, talk about this and get your views on obviously why it's fresh and get it out there. What's really cool is how you articulate it. You bring people into it. I like that. I like that a lot. So thank you for sharing that. What's next now? Like, so that's happened. Obviously, we've got Matilda's send off in China this Friday. Um, and that's gonna be a huge game at Adelaide Oval. And then like that's obviously the clubs, not talking about Matilda's, but for you now, what's it look like? You got
Mhm.
time off now, and then you go back into the season stuff. Like, run me through it. Let's just get here, get this out of the way,
Get it out of the way.
get out of the way.
Yeah. Well, I feel like now is my actual off season because, we finished the season. It was like, I still got to keep training. I've got this one
Mm-hmm.
game I'm preparing for, and like I've got a camp where, I need to come into it good. Like I still need to impress Joe. He needs to know that he made that right decision when I was 16. So yeah, I was basically training pretty freaking hard for the 7 weeks leading into it. And now it's like an awkward period, I would say, because I would ideally like to just go on holiday now.
Mm-hmm.
There's this holiday has been planned for so long now, and I'm like, I just want to go. I've got my cousin's wedding. I want to go to that. Got everything sorted for it, but now we've just got awkward few days where I don't like it. So, so I'll go away from the 6th to the 22nd.
Yep.
So that'll be the holiday. But this period now is literally like doing stuff around the house. Like yesterday was the first full day back at home since the camp. I was gardening, Joshua. Gardening. I have
Wow.
never gardened before. I
Wow.
was raking up the leaves. I was picking them up. I have gloves for this stuff now. I was like pulling out weeds. I like, man, I felt accomplished in a different way.
Wow. Who are you?
So yeah, I know, disturbing. And like I hate insects and bugs and stuff, and like I now don't like wet leaves. Wet leaves are
Okay.
gross. I don't like them. I don't like them. They smell funny.
Uh-huh.
It's one of the things I can smell. It smells like algae. I don't like it. So
Uh-huh.
it's a lot for me to do this, and I'm doing it because I have the time now, which I need to do stuff with my
Mm-hmm.
time. I'm
Yeah.
because this other bit is like when I'm overseas, I want that to be my complete disconnect. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be no training whatsoever, no football. It's just going to be 2 weeks of just pure whatever the hell we do on our holiday, which
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure will be freaking weird. There'll be some normal things, but it'll be weird.
Yeah.
But like this bit, I'm like still wanting to train and do
Mm-hmm.
things. So I signed up at a gym yesterday and I got a
Yes.
2 weeks. So it was the deal was $14 for 14 days.
Okay.
Fantastic. I went last night, went this morning. I feel more myself. So I'm pretty
Mhm.
much training now to prepare for my holiday.
Okay. It's just like
Yeah.
aesthetic training,
I've got a wedding that I need to look good for. So yeah, I would say
mate.
so.
Yeah. Is this
Like
like what's the routine looking like now then? What's the aesthetic routine?
it's an absolute shambles of things. Like I walked in and I was like, oh, what do I want to do today? Went on the rower. My arms are gonna look fucking fantastic, Joshua. This weather you're gonna see, and this is something that I have identified in myself that is
Mhm.
becoming problematic, I would say, is when I wear like nicer clothes, and nicer in meaning like it's a little bit like it's more new. I didn't buy it when I was 16 and hoarded it all this way.
Uh-huh.
They're not football shirts. They're not, you know, these are designed for me to look good, better than I normally. I mean, I look good, but
Yeah.
slightly better, you know? It's
You
like what
elev
I'd
you're
wear on a date,
elevating your
right?
output. Is that what this is? Like,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm attempting more,
Okay.
I'm putting a little bit more in.
I like the
And
word attempting. Sorry, I'm gonna pause on that. I like that word
yeah,
attempting. You're attempting more. Let's proceed.
yeah, yes. So when I wear things that are sleeveless, like
Hmm.
my arms are like a tank. And I can't help but just flex constantly. I like every time I look into a mirror, I'm like, damn. Like I don't get to see them when I play. So when I'm wearing a singlet, I'm like, whoa, I'm freaking jacked. So, so it's become a problem. We had at the victory like end of season night. I'm wearing a dress. First time I've been in a dress in a while. And I was like,
Hmm.
oh, purposely gonna do this to attempt to look different, right?
Hmm.
I couldn't stop flexing. Like I'm sitting down, I'm cutting my dinner, I'm watching my veins pop. I'm loving it. It's an embarrassing thing to admit. I like the veins. I like it. So
Honesty, honesty, and
I'm yeah.
authenticity. Own it.
Yeah, so I think that's probably what's keeping me in the gym now. I'm like, oh, I don't want to lose that before the wedding.
I respect this. This is fantastic to hear. And also, you don't get to do a lot of this stuff, you know?
No, no. Like I
It's,
don't get to just like train in a different way where like if I'm sore later on that day or the next day, it doesn't matter. Like I can just
hmm.
go again. Or I can
Yeah.
use like I could work on weird parts of my body and it's great.
Oh my God, this
So
is
that's
fantastic. Yep.
so yeah, that's the I guess that's the period that I'm in at the moment is just a
Hmm.
very transitional, getting ready for holiday and then essentially when I'm back I'll sort my life out. It'll become so much more structured, which I like to an extent, but
Hmm.
that's future me where I'll get to dive into that. But I mean, what like so that's where I'm at, but what area in your year are you in at the moment? Like what's happening at the gym? What's happening in your life? Like what's going on in your
I
period?
feel like that could be a whole nother episode.
Oh,
It's-
freaking hell. Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
we've got a little bit of time left. You know, we do we go to about, 38 to 39 minutes. So we've got probably about 8 or so minutes left.
All right.
I can
Well,
give
we
you a
don't have
brief.
to dive into that yet.
Give
No,
me,
do not. No, no. You're not going to give me a brit. I want the full 38 minutes of you speaking. So ask me another question. This is my episode.
Okay, this is your episode. This is your episode. The
Yep.
question being, what's the so where's the wedding, number one, and where
Yep.
is it, when is it? And then from there, I think you've mentioned your plans before. Just remind me where you're going again. And then what do you have planned to do whilst you're away? If anything at this stage. Obviously, you're going to be rando stuff happening. We get that. But run me
Yep.
through, gotta look good for this date, gotta get my veins popping for this date, and then we're
Yep.
off. Here's what's happening. Run me
All
through that.
right. Veins popping for the
Okay.
7th. So
7th. Okay, yep.
beautiful 7th of June. What a date for a wedding, right?
Hmm.
It's going to be, I believe, actually, my cousin listens to the podcast, so she will be pissed if I get this wrong. I think it's Darling Harbour area,
Hmm.
pretty area. It's going to be pretty, is all I know.
Sounds beautiful, by the way. Sounds beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be beautiful. And
Mhm.
I will be popping with my veins. That's that's what I'm excited about. But anyway, so we got that little period. So we fly to Sydney on the 6th in the evening. So
Mhm.
I'll train that morning, make sure nice and good.
Mm-hmm.
And then Friday will be the wedding. Saturday, so my parents recently moved to Sydney. So actually my brother's moving as well. So whole family. That that's a whole other thing. Um anyway, my mum's gonna be working there. My dad's retired. And my brother's looking for work. So they're all moving to Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll be there. So I'll get to go see the place that they'll be in.
Mm-hmm.
See my family, which would be
Mm-hmm.
lovely. And then, Erin will be catching up with people that she knows in Sydney as well. So we'll kind of go our separate ways, I guess, on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Bits and pieces, then probably have like a nice dinner at night or something. And then the next morning we fly out. So we fly to Singapore, but go straight to Georgetown
Mm-hmm.
from there. So we'll hang out in the airport, which I've heard it's a lovely airport. So I'm excited.
It is a beautiful airport.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
So we'll be there for a few days. Look, Erin's the one that planned it. So I'm just gonna say the where. But anyway, so Georgetown, we're going Bangkok, uh something else, Siem Reap in Cambodia. I
Mm-hmm.
hope that that's
Mm-hmm.
correct. And then we finish up in Singapore to fly back. So
Cool.
it's like 4 different countries in the space of the 2 weeks, which should be
Mm-hmm.
fun and adventurous. Um, but yeah, the only thing that I know of, which I didn't agree to, was we have to catch a 6-hour bus at some point.
Ooh.
I'm like, I don't want to do that. That doesn't
Okay.
sound relaxing. Yes. So I really should have been paying more attention. Once again, as I've been telling everyone, I wanted to go to New Zealand. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Erin, you sort this out. So I'm sure she's got some stuff planned, but I think we're just going to be doing a shit ton of sightseeing and eating. That's the main thing. We've got like a really cool Airbnb in Georgetown where it's literally above a cafe that looks amazing.
Oh
So
wow.
I'm super happy about that. I mean, I love like being in little random unique places that aren't hotels and then
Mm-hmm.
right next to a cafe that we would most definitely go to every day. So
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, I think that's going to be really nice to start the holiday off. And I'm hoping that I'll get to finish it off at Universal Studios purely just to go on some fun rides before coming back to reality. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe there'll be some other sophisticated things to do. Who knows? I might change completely in this time. I might be a new woman. I
Please
might
don't.
be like I might be like Josh, I just went to museums and now I want to be an archaeologist. So, who
You
knows?
know what? I
Yeah.
respect that. I respect the openness to change.
Yeah. I mean, I have evolved quite a lot in my time, so who
Hmm.
the hell knows what's next?
Exactly. Exactly. And you haven't been to Singapore before, have you? Or stayed there?
No, I've
Okay.
not stayed like properly anywhere in Asia. Like it's only been for football.
Yep.
And yeah, I've been to Nanjing, China 4 times.
Yes, you have.
I don't want to be offensive to Nanjing, but it's not the kind of place that you'd go on holiday, I would say.
Yeah.
So, respect to what Nanjing does, but
Mm-hmm.
I never want to return back
Mm-hmm.
after 4 times. So yeah.
Yes. There were
Yep.
some tumultuous times in Nanjing, weren't there?
Everyone got friggin' rhinovirus. Like that shit in itself is crazy. All of the Adelaide girls fucking come back from that trip so unwell. Like I remember poor Emily Condon, like I was her roommate and I didn't want to wake her up. I'm like, she's so peaceful sleeping. We ran out of tissues. I started using the bed sheets, the curtains, the floor. I was rubbing my nose on everything. It is a miracle I only had the flu. It's
Mm-hmm. It was quite the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
I'm just being traumatized by that. Re-traumatized
yeah.
by what came back to Adelaide after that trip.
There is 100% still parts of all of us in Nanjing. Like someone got friggin' electrocuted. Like there was some bad shit that happened.
What a trip. What a trip. Well,
Yeah,
look, I will
yeah.
send you through some recommendations for Singapore because it's one of my favorite
Yes.
places on earth to go. and I have definitely some recommendations. Universal, I haven't done yet, so you can come back and share that with me.
Ooh,
I've heard it is incredible. There is definitely a cable car that I would recommend you attempt to go with your
attempt.
yes, with your attempting to do more. I
Uh-huh.
would recommend no, complete the cable car, hopefully. But when you
Well,
see
okay,
it, it
hold
goes,
up.
what's that?
I need to understand. Like,
It
do
goes,
I have to hold onto
no,
something for my life, or is this
no,
just
no,
I
no.
go in and sit? So
No,
it's
it's a cable
safe.
car. You go in and sit, right? You go in and sit, but it goes
Oh, okay.
from like the mainland Singapore to over the seas to an island, and that's the island where Universal is, and the marina. You have to go
Oh,
to the aquarium. Sorry, the aquarium. Um,
oh.
yeah, that's what I'll leave you with. That's what I'll leave you with. It
I didn't
is,
know it was on an island. That's sick.
yep,
See, I know nothing. So
yep,
this is
yep,
gonna be
yep, yep,
great.
yep. Enjoy. The aquarium is fantastic. Like we spent hours there, hours, and you just get absorbed into everything that's happening. Like, love that. And haven't done Universal, so you can come back and let me know how that goes. But I'm excited for our chat once you get back as a new person. But for now, we've had enough.
Oh, yeah.
We have had enough.
Yes.
We shall have to leave everybody. And we'll be back very soon with another episode of the Best of the Mess podcast with Alex Chidiak and Joshua Smith. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. See you soon, my friends.
Bye.
Ah.